Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss, celebrate our favorite TV and films. I'm your host, Xavier, and today I've got a special episode lined up with my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists. It's the first of quite a few Marvel movies that we have hinted at before. The first one coming up is Captain America: Brave New World. You got a Valentine's Day? Well, guess what? It came out on Valentine's Day. You two can share the romantic patriotism and possible fondness of Anthony Mackie with with you and your loved one. But before we go even further, let me just once again reintroduce my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists. We have Danny.
Hello.
Got Anthony.
America.
And we have Zach.
I don't have anything clever to say.
Nope, that's good. Not clever is clever. Good job. So, before we get into what we basically thought about the movie, this is a sort of a, Marvel's return to cinemas for the first of 2025. Stars Anthony Mackie, as we saw from previous Marvel movies. He is taking on the new mantle of Captain America. It also features a recast for now President Thaddeus Ross. Taking over the role from the late William Hurt is none other than Harrison Ford. But you also have a couple other people in supporting roles, like Tim Blake Nelson, coming back from The Incredible Hulk as Professor Stearns, or the Leader, as we know him in the comics. Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, sort of like the new Falcon. Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley from Falcon and Winter Soldier. And also Giancarlo Esposito as minor side villain Sidewinder, and also Shira Haas as Ruth Bath Saraf. Pretty fun character. And it is directed by Julius Ona. Not really familiar with other movies or any other projects that Julius had been a part of. I don't know if Danny, if you got to look that up.
Cloverfield Paradox, right?
Paradox, yeah.
I think that's the only one I know that he did.
Oh, okay. Right on. I didn't know that. Thanks for that. That's why you guys are on the panel.
He's done some other ones, but the only one that I've seen would be the Cloverfield Paradox. So.
Okay, nice. That was the one in space, right?
That was the Netflix one that I've never seen it, but yeah that's the Netflix one that was not really reviewed well compared to its two previous highly critically acclaimed ones.
But the cast was low key kind of stacked. Like, if you look at the cast, you had you had David Oyelowo,
Daniel
Bruhl, Zemo, Chris O'Dowd. I love Chris O'Dowd. Like, I'll probably watch anything that Chris O'Dowd is in. But Elizabeth Debicki, Ji Zhang from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Rush Hour 2. Axel Henny and John Ortiz. So yeah, like the cast is like, oh, and Donald Logue. I forgot about Donald Logue. That's pretty out of hand. Like this, that was one of those hey, there's a lot of random people in this movie.
I'm actually surprised that Daniel Bruhl wasn't in this movie, considering
neither was what's her name from I was gonna say the show that she was on, but I'm forgetting this girl from Civil War and Winter Soldier.
The show Revenge?
Yes, Emily Van Camp, Sharon Carter.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's her name. I remember it now.
Her name is just Revenge.
Her name is Revenge. No, Emily Van Camp. It would have been great if she. So spoiler alert, she didn't show
that part. Yeah,
exactly. So, going into this, be aware there will be spoilers. So if you want spoilers, keep on going. If you don't want spoilers, go and watch the movie for yourself and give us a little listen when we get back. So getting back into it before we talk about, what we thought and some of the things we liked and didn't. Danny, give us a rundown. Preface it with a little bit of how the movie's doing so far while it's hitting theaters.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll go through the budget and box office, and then along with the reviews that have come out for it. So budget wise, the budget was $180 million, which makes it the second most expensive Captain America film.
And that's what they're reporting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of different things that say that that's not true. But
I mean, if it is 180 million, it's not that bad compared to some other ones.
Yeah. Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Not even gonna. I wasn't even gonna. Secret Invasion. No, it's like Secret Invasion.
Yeah, because they got $0 from that.
Yeah. And I mean, opening weekend they made 192 million, so they already made that back. But obviously,
that was stateside or worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yeah, okay. I think some of the reports they kind of combined Thursday and Monday because it was a long weekend,
the holiday.
Yeah, so I saw some reports that actually showed like the 3-day was 88.4 million for domestic. So it's still doing pretty good for that 4-day stretch and for the first weekend.
Okay, yeah. So it's got I would say, but now it remains to be seen whether the movie has wings to keep soaring on along past the first week.
Wow. But
and then reviews side, so critic reviews, it's right in the middle. It's at 49%. And well, it started when it first came out. The reviews were a little higher. It was like 55, and then it kind of slowly dropped critic wise to now 49. And then audience score has been solid at an 80%.
Yeah, that's one of those interesting divides that we've seen. It's not like a meme like Morbius or something, but like it's something where it's people overall have so far liked it. Let's see how that happens the more and more it goes along. But it's interesting to note. Should you have already seen it, or again, if you're listening to this and haven't seen it yet. So with that, going right into it, I'm gonna open it up to the rest of the panel. We don't have to go in chronological order of what's going on in the movie, but we can talk about some of the things, some fun and interesting moments, and then we can talk about some of the things maybe we didn't really like, or maybe choices that didn't really resonate, and kind of go from there.
I'll start off with mine because I want to at least start off with something that I think we can all agree with. Is that a lot of the choreography in the fights in the fighting was actually really well done too. It was really well done, like especially with
which parts?
Mostly with
like hand-to-hand combat.
Not the hand-to-hand combat part, but with
like Captain America fights.
Yes, like when like in the opening shot where he lands in that compound or whatever in Mexico, and he's doing like Sam is doing a combination of like attacking the goons with the shield at the same time with the wings, and like doing spins and kicks and stuff. Really cool, really well done. Some of the hand-to-hand stuff I can't remember if they're like what.
Some of it was rough. Some of it was rough.
It was like you can tell that it was very like too choreographed.
It looked a little like some of the like CW superhero shows where it was like a supreme dance and not everybody was in rhythm. That's what it seemed like in some parts.
Yeah, there were some parts that were like that. There was one that came to mind. I think it was when they were in the
when they're in the lab.
Was it the lab?
That to me kind of felt like it was in the lab. Like that's the only time where I was like, oh, okay. But to your point, I would say that some of the stuff in the opening sequence was pretty cool. Yeah. The fact that he's gonna like use the thruster to knee someone in the face, like that's pretty dope.
I like that too. I like they did it in the show as well. Like he did some of that stuff in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm glad that they continue to like. You have to show that he's a little different than Steve Rogers because he doesn't have the serum.
Yeah,
So
he's still using good.
He has all the tech.
I mean, he's using all the tools that he has because he can't just do everything with his pure fists. So,
but at the same time, he's also incorporating a lot of the shield like ricocheting and still making it, that be like the sort of signature of like Cap's fighting style. So that was dope. Like there was some cool stuff there for like most of the times. Like okay, this is cool. Like good job with this.
Yeah, I agree with Zach. Some of it was cool, like shield stuff, but then there was some of it that I was like, this is some crazy stuff that he's doing. Like, it got to the point I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna let that go because there were some crazy shield shenanigans going on. But I was like, you know what? It still looked a little cool, even though it was nonsense.
like throwing it and it deflecting off of things.
There was
coming right back
conveniently.
Yeah, so there was like one or two times where it bounced off like 5 things, and then it still like came back to him.
Dude, that shield has always done wild ass stuff. Like,
but there was other times where he would like do like a kick and it would hit the person perfectly. I'm like, damn, you must have been practicing like crazy because.
Or when he threw the shield,
Rogers can't even do that. Like
when he threw the shield to the different missiles.
As wild as that is,
that one looked cool. It looked cool.
I still thought that was cool, even though I'm like, how is he throwing it at the speed to match? I was like, oh, I guess he's going that fast. But you know what? I don't care. That looked really cool.
Yeah, that part to me was like, that's just video game stuff, and it looked cool. Like he pressed aim and then threw it. Like
so like the whole thing where like he threw it and then kicked it again. Like that to me was like, again, video game stuff. like, have you ever played? I'm gonna bring this up. We're gonna bring up video games. I was one of like the maybe dozens of like couple hundred people who played the live service Avengers game by Square Enix. Cap was so much fun to play in that game. Like you had a lot of that where you could like lock on to people and it will hit like 5 different targets, and then as it comes back to you, he'll kick it and then it'll have extra damage. Like it was so like seeing stuff like that, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like we're making this work. But like then you think about like, well, like can he really do it? Whatever. That becomes the whole thing. Like because the part of the plot point is like he's like, hey, am I still good enough to be able to take up the mantle? Like I don't have a super soldier serum. Like why is it that like he's always still struggling with that? And it was cool to see that again from from a thematic standpoint, he still struggles with that, even though he's like everybody's point making it his own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I it's a little double-edged sword because like I like that he's still sticking to I don't need the serum. Like I can do it on my own. But yet he's kind of like Iron Man and has all this tech. So it's like some of this stuff looks cool when he does it, but then it's just like, but he's only really doing all that stuff because he's not like a super soldier. So it's like you have to like kind of like it and not like it at the same time. I don't know. It's a little weird, but for the most part, I liked when he would incorporate like the wings or the jets along with the shield, because then it's like, okay, you're getting like his actual version
of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Other thing I liked, more of expanding of a character of Joaquin, sort of like new Falcon.
Representing Miami.
Represent the 305 for better and for worse. He's just like I love it. Like he's like, yo, can you have a hookup? He's like, that's the most Miami thing I've ever heard. I'm like, yeah, he's right. Like he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Everybody in this town just wants to hook up for something, and super easy to make it work.
I saw somewhere on Instagram that I think the University of Miami had posted like something like along the lines of UM is confirmed to exist in in the
MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah,
UM is canon in the MCU because he had the UM's training shirt on.
Yeah,
he had
that was great.
You can say the same about the Miami Heat and other things that were Miami related, but it was like UM themselves that posted it because obviously they're going to talk about themselves. So it's like, oh yeah, they're confirmed.
That's free press. Yeah, free press. Yeah. That's
to be honest, I didn't even remember he was wearing that shirt.
Dude, immediately. I think we all looked at each. I think I was next to like my sister. Was like, "Yo, UM!" Like that guy repping the 305. As long as he didn't they didn't with his training sequence with Isaiah, like when they're at Isaiah's house. Like I'm glad they didn't whip out needle drop Pitbull or something. Then that would have been too much.
Oh yeah.
They should have. It's like,
okay, too far.
Dale, and then he gets wrecked. Dale, nope. Yeah, Mr. 305. Man, yeah. So that's cool. And then obviously like him like, trying to like also it's wild that he sees like, no man, like I'm like it's sort of like how the trickle down effect of like, Steve inspired so many people and now you have Sam inspiring people, someone like Joaquin, and so that's like a good I was like, that's a cool positive net gain to see that, as sort of character development, and even with like the wild stuff that he went through during the fight by the the celestial island. Like it was the whole like,
it's also a really great fight.
Like, yeah, that whole
great scene to do.
We're talking about scenes that we liked. That whole scene, I think, was
that really had cool. The set piece was great. Yeah,
it was one of the standouts. One of the standouts in the movie that many people may not have liked, but I think a lot of people would probably agree that that was definitely one of the standouts.
What was cool too is
there were stakes involved. So
yeah, like to Zach's point, I think Zach was going to allude to it, but the psychological stakes of President Ross. I keep wanting to call him General Ross, but yeah, President Ross, like having to deal with his whole situation, like everything that's going on with the leader and Samuel Stearns. That was kind of like its whole thing. Like that was adding extra tension to all of it, because it's like, how are we going to de-escalate when this is already like, really getting to the point where people are shooting rockets at each other and shooting stuff at, military targets. So that's like, how do we de-escalate that? You beat Captain America. That's what you do.
Hell yeah.
America, hell yeah. No. Let me see. At first, what I will say is, at first, I don't know how to have felt about the inclusion of, I forget her name in the comics, but
Sabra.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Sabra. Yeah, but like at first I thought it was gonna be this like, okay, like they're gonna be like the secondary antagonist that's gonna be hunting them while they're doing their thing that's going AWOL. But at least one of the few things that worked out logically was her realizing like, oh, okay, like yeah, there's something way more to this, and like there is something that Ross is hiding, or there is this other thing that's happening. And then they kind of wrote it in like, oh, she's a former like graduate of the Red Room, so people haven't seen Black Widow, then they don't know it, or they've only alluded to that stuff like whenever Natasha would mention that. But like that whole thing, and then you get to see some more of her fighting, which is cool. Like it's cool to see like the normies kind of like try to hold their own amongst all this wild stuff.
Yeah, and then she was kind of like, well, not that she was just kind of dropped in there, but she was just kind of there for the first.
Yeah, because at first, like she was in the conference in the White House, like, or like where the summit for the treaty, and like she's just there. She's just like wanting to just murder everybody on sight. I was like, what is happening right now? And then you see like there's sort of like this like, hold up, don't kill anybody just yet. We need answers. And it's just like, no, that lady, Ruth just wanted to murder everybody. Ruth was ruthless. Yeah, I made another pun. I'm not proud of it. Here we go.
I was gonna save it for parts I didn't like, but she was one of the characters that I did not think really belonged in the movie. I didn't really like her character.
That's and I also didn't with what I was saying too. Like they just kind of dropped her in there. Like
yeah, I mean it was like, here's this brand new character, and it felt kind of weird because they were kind of showing that Sam knew or got along with like the Secret Service lady that was working with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, with Layla.
Yeah, and then it's just like, well, and then here's another one. So it's like, so he has like 2 security guards, and then like I didn't find it that believable that, yeah, I know they say that she was from the Red Room and that she was like former Black Widow, but I don't know, man. It just wasn't believable to me that like one of those fight scenes where she was just like taking out like 10 guys and she lifted one guy. Like that's fine if you could, because I know even like Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh, they do like those signature like twisty McFisty moves. They usually like do like leg grapples.
Yeah.
Like I would have been fine if like she did all that stuff, but once she like lifted a dude, I was like, I don't understand, because she looked like she was like kind of small. It's like smaller than the other two Black Widows that we know. So it's like I
No,
don't
she's
remember.
definitely tiny.
I don't think I've seen them lift people. Like they're not that strong. They're just like very skilled at what they do. So it was like some of those moments are pretty unbelievable to me. So I was like, I don't know about this character, but we'll see. We'll see if they continue to keep her for future cat movies or any time that there's. And yeah, I don't know. With what happens in this movie, I don't know if she's still gonna be at the side of the president. So
Well,
Well,
look, if
see.
yeah, well, spoil. Yeah, we'll again.
We
Spoiler
already said
alert. So by
spoilers,
the
so
end of
yeah.
the movie, like she's not by the side of the president because the president is somewhere else and he stepped
Right,
down.
right.
well, I just want to throw in here real quick to what Anthony was saying. If Toph from The Last Airbender has taught me anything, is that you can take down your opponents by just hitting their weak points before you deliver the final blow. And that's what she did.
I get all that. First of all, and Toph can do magical stuff, so that's not. But like, she was lifting fools that were like over 200 pounds or whatever. So
Like
that
I
was the
don't
only
remember
thing I
her.
was
Was
thinking.
it like with two
She-
arms, one arm?
Yeah,
Like
she like lifted a dude.
was it
and
like
then-
in an arcing circle? I'll have to
No,
rewatch
no,
it to see it
dude,
up.
she lifted a guy and then threw him down. I was like, what? I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
But he got leg strength, so you more like a
Probably,
push press
very
him up.
Unrealistic.
Wild.
Yeah, it was
Unrealistic
very
standards.
unrealistic. It was like, okay, she's taking all these dudes and then can also like chuck them.
Yeah, she's only like a pair. So I had to look this up. She's Florence Pugh's maybe like if you're gonna give it like 5'3", and she's just under 5'4", and then Shira Haas is 5'1", 5'1", 5'1", 5'2".
Yeah, like I
5'2".
said, if
Yeah.
if during her fight scenes she did the usual stuff, which for the most part she did, that we've seen Black Widows do, I would be like, okay, yeah, she did Black Widow stuff, nice.
Yeah,
But once she like lifted this guy and she was kind of like really whooping on these huge guys, I was like, man, okay, that's how we're doing it. But yeah, but
yeah.
other than that,
Anything else before we go into notes? You know, I would like to call it constructive notes. Any other positives? Like
other
stuff
scenes
you like?
that we liked? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
other positives. The end of the movie. The end of the movie. The whole Red Hulk.
Oh, the Red Hulk fight and the Red Hulk reveal, or like the Red Hulk turn. Anthony and I were looking at each other, kind of like, "Oh, this is from that one anime we watched." Whereas it's basically, they took like Stearns takes a conversation he had with Ross, and it's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna fabricate this perfectly." So then, when it's the big whole like, "Hey, it turns out Ross, you're a scumbag," and play it in front of the world, it was like exactly like to the letter. That's pretty. I thought that was pretty. It was done well enough, I think. It's like, okay, that was a cool callback. I was like, it's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna like drop something. It's no, like I played him down to the T from a conversation. So at least showcase some of what's supposed to be the leader's intelligence. Other things we'll talk about later. I'll talk about later, but that was a whole thing, great thing, and then his transformation into the whole Red Hulk spectacle is pretty cool.
I mean, I wish they just would have limited that from the trailers and the promos, because it was a really good.
I think everybody did.
Moment.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's a universal sentiment.
The whole reveal.
Yeah, they could have just done something where it just could be like, hey, like the reveal, like that they could show off as more of Samuel Stearns or Professor Stearns as the leader. Like, hey, like have that be like the thing you show. Just like you have all this stuff, the stuff on the Celestial Island, and then like maybe a monologue or stuff of him, or like the other like type of mind control that he was developing, but not, you could have saved the Red Hulk stuff, and then like, oh, this is happening, and then
yeah,
surprise.
I could see why they probably didn't want to show much of the leader in any of the trailers. I mean, they were trying to keep it as secret as like, that's I guess like the main villain of the movie. But also, in my opinion, I think like his makeup was pretty goofy. So they probably were like, we probably shouldn't put this in a trailer. What's gonna make people come to the theater? And it sucks to say, but it's like, yeah, showing a Hulk is gonna make people he's gonna get butts in the seats. So it's
That's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, it could be a voiceover. Yeah, I think there was a voiceover at a certain point. Like if they could have done more more voiceover work, I think that would have been fine. But
I think
I don't think they should have shown.
I don't think they should have shown at all in the trailers that Harrison Ford was the Red Hulk. They should have just showed like very few scenes that there was some Red Hulk and shown it from the back or something. Yeah. Because only people that know that character from the comics knows that it's that character, that's Thaddeus Ross. So to everybody else,
like in Winter Soldier, like people were like, "Oh, he's the Winter Soldier." Yeah. It's not like, guys, it's Bucky Barnes. Like, because like I was waiting for it because I knew it because I read the comic, but like going with friends and family who haven't read comics, they were surprised, like, oh, "Whoa, that's his best friend." I'm like, "Yeah, look at that, his boy."
And they could have mind gamed it too, because very odd that what do you call it? Bruce Banner is not in this movie, but let's say he was, and let's say you had Mark Ruffalo in this movie, you could have had very few little clips in a trailer showing, hey, Mark Ruffalo's in it, so you know that Hulk is in this movie, and then so you kind of mind game the regular going audience that, oh, maybe something happens to him and he becomes a Red Hulk. Because they never show the face, and then so when you see the movie, you actually get surprised that like, oh, it's somebody else, and oh crap, it's the president.
It's actually the president.
But they just straight up showed like after like every trailer, they kept showing more and more of the Red Hulk, and by the third trailer, it was like you
could tell the majority of that it's Harrison Ford's model on it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, looked good.
Oh yeah, it looked awesome.
Looked really good. Yeah, and so like that, like you mentioned, the whole like final sequence of like that like it's like I have to fight and get Red Hulk away, but I also have to save everybody who are trying not to be collateral damage. Like when the drones, like the helicopter drones came out and one of them got shot, like it's like, oh crap, it's like shooting, it's spreading fire, like a bullet fire somewhere, and I have to protect them too. And I was like, that was a good like presence of mind and showcasing like, all right, hero tendencies. Like I gotta also protect and save the people. And then he took it out to the cherry blossoms at the far end, and so nobody was there to kind of like continue with the next part of the fight.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. The beginning of the very beginning of the movie is them saying that getting a speech from the new president, Harrison Ford giving a speech. So did they ever say in the movie like the date of when that took place, like within the year? Because then after that sequence, then it just says 5 months later. So do you guys, any of you guys remember if there was like a date at the beginning of the movie?
I don't think so.
No, not that I know.
Okay, well, if there wasn't, then when he gave that speech, was that like a speech after he's already been president, or was that like election day and he just won and he's giving his speech, or is that like inauguration day?
I think it was I think it was prior, because if they do 5 months, sorry, Zach, go ahead.
No, that's it. I was just saying that they made it very clear that it was during the campaign, but not after winning the election.
So I believe, yeah. So it's because remember he's talking about his first 90 days. So it's going to be probably in I don't know if it's 2020. It's either 2025.
I'm not really concerned about the year. Yeah. I'm concerned about the month, because then if I know the month, then it leads me to my next question.
Why cherry blossoms?
Yes.
So
the cherry blossoms are in bloom in DC, like at the end of March to like mid-April.
Yeah.
So when I saw the movie, I was like, wait, is this speech taking place like in January, and then it says 5 months later? I'm like, that's not when the cherry blossoms are there.
Or was it November? It was on
speech?
Election day, like after the election when he won.
Okay, that makes more sense, because
that's how I took it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which as a side note, if no one has done that yet, it's really pretty. Like I've had family members go to DC around that time where the cherry blossoms are out, and it's really nice. Like it's definitely like, I like that little side plot of like, oh, I miss taking Betty out to see the cherry blossoms, and I'm just like, you know what, like it is nice. So I do recommend if anybody does a trip to DC, do it around that time so you can go to that area and see the cherry blossoms in bloom. It's really nice.
I plan on going to Japan next year during that time, so hopefully I can see the actual cherry
between
blossoms.
March and May is when you want to go.
I wasn't invited. What the heck?
Sounds like a podcast trip.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Maybe, guys. We'll watch some Kurosawa
together.
No, which reminds me, the Prime Minister of Japan is played by Takahiro Hiro, who is great. He's a great actor who's been in a whole bunch of like projects where there's a lot of just like very like either small roles or like supporting and important roles. So like he is really great in Shogun. He is very small, very barely in Gran Turismo. He's also really great in Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. What else? He was also in
Snake Eyes.
Yes, yeah.
That's
right. There was that. I was gonna say he was in this TV miniseries that I saw on Netflix called Gidi Haji. That's a really good like crime thriller. Like he's a cop and his brother is apparently a Yakuza enforcer, and it's really cool. Like it's a good, if you want like crime drama, it's a good one there. So yeah, the dude is good. So it was just cool to see like him in the movie. I'm like, all right, nice. He's got more work. Good for him.
So other quick like little things that I liked about the movie, because there are things that I didn't like that I'll talk about later, but I definitely liked Anthony Mackie. He's always cool and fun to watch. Liked Harrison Ford. You mentioned earlier about what's his name? Is it Manny Ramirez?
Danny
Ramirez. Danny Ramirez. Yeah.
We got a Danny on the podcast. You forgot the Danny. Okay.
I liked
Danny
him.
Ramirez is great.
I liked him in parts. At the beginning, I didn't like when he was like trying to be like very goofy, but I liked him more toward the end. Dude, Carl Lumbly as
Carl Lumbly, man, like
he's too good, man.
Carl Lumbly like has such a good like. If you're into like kind of like the nerdy stuff, since we're talking about nerdy stuff, like he was. What?
There's a show that he was in that I watched when I was a little kid called The Mantis.
Yes, that's a deep cut, but yes, I do remember that. Keep on going. Yeah, keep going.
My back hurts. Yeah. My back is because it's so old. But no,
he's like I can't anymore because it hurts.
Yeah, him as Isaiah Bradley, to me, that was one of the best parts of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I liked half of that show, and he was part of the half that I liked. And to see that he's back in here was cool. I just wish they gave him more to do, because every scene he's in, he's great in it. Yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah, like, dude. His stature,
like you said,
his voice,
he chews the scenery up when he's there.
Who Carl Lumbly? I don't think he
doesn't go crazy, but when he's there, he's like,
no, he's a scene stealer is what he is. Yeah, he rolls in there. It's like it's all about me. Like he's so like I love him like from physical acting. Yeah, like I remember him being in like Alias and but I love him from his voice acting work as Martian Manhunter from Justice League. Yeah, like dude, like he just has such a command.
Nice. That was him.
Like,
yes. Yeah, I didn't remember that.
That's what I know him from, and I was just like, yo, every time like Martian Manhunter was in place, like he was like he just like in Falcon Winter Soldier and in points in this movie, like he's sort of like the lifeblood of the movie of like trying to like making sure that the consciousness of like keeping the Cap's compass in check. Like they're just like, hey, like make sure like not doing these things for like, the right reasons and not just like, oh, we're just gonna put, and like he was saying, like, oh, you're just gonna do whatever to General Ross and be whatever. Like, yeah, like it was it was one of those like he was an emotional anchor in the film, and he's usually an emotional anchor. To me, he's in a lot of things that he's in. Like he's just really good, man. Like, just really good. It's just I love it, man.
Too, speaking of Martian Manhunter, in Supergirl, he was the father of the actor that played.
Yes, he was.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think it was like season 2, right? Season 2, or was it season 1? I think it was season 2. No, yeah, he was the
further out, dude. No, yeah, he's John Jones's. It was John Jones's. It was seasons 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, it was 3. Okay, wow, that later on. I thought it was 2.
Yep. Correct.
But yeah, he's the father.
Was he a Maury? Like, he is the father.
The results are in.
You are the father. Nah, but anyway, yeah, Isaiah Bradley's character, all great stuff. Anything else? I know Anthony, Zach, or Danny.
The music was pretty good.
The music was good. I forgot this the new composer that
I don't remember her name, but it's the same composer that has done the music for like Miss Marvel and the Marvels, and I think What If as well.
Laura Parkman.
There you go. So she's been doing a few Marvel projects.
Yeah. She did American Fiction, Anthony, which
nice. Good movie.
I saw it. Yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, I remember watching that on a plane to Atlanta. I was like, dude, this movie's great. Anyway, like, yeah, she nailed the kind of like the tone, at least what the movie's trying to set. So she did a good job there.
Not gonna lie, there were some parts in the movie that if the music wasn't there, it might have been like even worse, like really bad. I was like, I think the music is helping this part of the movie.
That's what it needs to do. Yeah, if any, yeah, at least we can. Yeah, of course, at least
it's like some of this dialogue is a little rough, but they give you that
sort of
intriguing or emotional or thriller type music in the background. Yeah.
Yep.
Not Michael Jackson, no thriller, but
yeah. Nah, I agreed.
One of the other shots that I remember that I was liking was when Sam was fighting against Sidewinder, and like that one-on-one in the street, like towards the middle of the movie.
Oh yeah, he just blew up his car. He's like, I hate your truck.
That part was then
still had 2 years on that lease, man.
Yeah. And then like towards the end of that fight, he did like this drop kick that we all looked at each other like.
I was like, damn.
He did not protect his chest. Like, that's the universal, you better protect your chest, and he had no gear. That was just, I'm going to use my wits, and you're going to take this one in the chest.
Yeah,
that was like a champ.
At first, I didn't know what he was doing with the battery, and then once the fumes came out, I was like, oh, is he going to just like poison him or something? And I was like, no, it was just smog. Yeah, me too. I thought something was going to explode, and then nope. It was just like to mask whatever was going to happen.
Look, a distraction, and then
distraction to get drop kicked in his chest.
True, and the fact that like at first, like when he took like a hatchet to like the gut, I was like, yo, are you dead? Like, this man's dead. They had to like hand wave it with a bit of dialogue at a certain point. Later on, it's like oh, that was vibranium weave. You still cut me, my dude. And he's like, I'm gonna get you next time because I'm a douchebag. I'm the leader of Serpent.
I think
it's just their way of the Serpent Society.
I think it's telling that we're going through all the moments that we liked, and just now we're mentioning one of the few parts that Giancarlo Esposito is in the movie.
Yeah, the beginning and up to like middle, and then here's plot exposition, and then I'm gone again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, apparently
he got wasted, man.
Apparently they're setting him up for something else. He's gonna have his own show or his own something. So there's that.
When though? When is that gonna happen?
I don't know, but he said something, and if he said it, I don't know.
Like,
it's not true.
This in like 5 years.
Yeah,
it's not true, but he's gonna get something. He's too good. Maybe they'll surprise him. Like, surprise, he's Professor X. Like everybody wants.
Well, that was a rumor back in the day, and then once they said that he was this character, everyone's like, "Oh, no more Professor X."
No more Professor X. Just like what was it? Is it Denzel Washington? They're like, oh, it'd be cool if he was Magneto, and now he's like, I think he's gonna just in the next Doctor Strange movie.
Or no,
Black Panther.
Or was it Black Panther?
Yeah.
Oh, I was Black. Yes, that's right. It's Black Panther. Sorry. That's right.
I mean, hey, maybe his character pops up in the next Doctor Strange. Who knows?
Who knows? But he's not showing up. It isn't Blade because it's not getting made. All right. So let's pivot over really quickly. What were some things that that did not land or didn't work or could have worked better?
That did not fly.
That did not fly. Good job. That did not bounce back.
I think like one of the things that I thought was weaker, obviously, was with like Tim Blake Nelson's character, Samuel Stearns, and like the leader. But like the whole like mind control thing with like the flashing lights, like I felt like that was kind of like whatever.
Yeah, but then it's also mixed with the song, so it's like the levels of like
weird with the music or whatever,
like manipulation and suggestion. Yeah, I will say I think that's one of the big weak points of the movie is like the motivation of the leader. Yeah, like the main plot of stuff. It's like like the plot around the Celestial Island is like okay, that was interesting and important, but that's like
it was mentioned like once and I didn't do much with it.
Yeah, it's like them manipulating everybody to fight over it is like that should be that's a big point, but it's like it really boiled down to the just like for someone that's supposed to be this one man think tank and super intelligent and can see all this stuff, like he was so singularly focused on just making keep President Ross just like kind of suffer or try to do things to make him look bad. It was all like kind of setting up for that, which if if it's for being a political thriller, if there was more of that of the like background maneuvering and manipulations, then it could have made more sense. Because as somebody in the comics known as the leader, where people like will follow him, get it, like that's part of the mind control and stuff can tie into that. But you need to have someone who's a little more thinking grander in scope instead of just like I'm just gonna mess with General Ross and make your daughter hate you more. Like that's one of the things that was like. I was like, damn, like this is like there's a major Hulk villain. That this is a guy that like has gone and done crazy stuff. Like and in the comics, he does like irradiate other people or try to make like other like the gamma mutates and stuff like that. So like they had that with President Ross, but I think there's more untapped potential with the character.
With who, the leader?
Yeah, with the leader.
Yeah, man. Some of the things that he kept like not getting things correct. Sam Wilson kept like chumping him, like, "Aren't you the smartest dude? I don't understand."
I predicted everything. Wait, you predicted wrong.
There was a 80-something% chance that you would not be here, and it's like, okay,
but I'm here.
He's like, there, so it's like, so he's smarter than you, I guess.
Yeah, it's like it's either he's smarter than you, or like, how are you explaining like what's the it factor? Like they didn't really explain a lot of the it factor of what made Sam the like unknowable variable that kept messing with the leader's plans.
Right. It's like is he like a master statistician? No, he was just like going over there on like leads that they found.
Yeah,
like it wasn't anything special.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, I'm following the trails. Like my thing is like they talk about everything that's special about Sam Wilson as a character, which is great. Like there's nothing to me. There's nothing wrong with that. But that didn't factor in as to why Samuel Stearns' plans weren't working. I was just like, okay, like,
come on, like, non-super soldier Captain America figured me out.
Like exactly, and and like I'm supposed to be the super smart guy who, like, again, we're gonna talk about post-credit scenes. Like, there's a guy who's able to predict these other things from happening, but then it's like, oh, but here's I guess and then he also underestimated the power of talk no jutsu, as I like to call it. Like that was kind of great. But
it's like he didn't have plan B or plan C or plan D if that other like 10 or 11% like happened. He's like, oh shucks, I guess I was.
My backup plan is let me take out the cool Navy SEALs guy, like, which sucks because I like that character. I forget his name, but like the whole
the
Commander
pill guy?
Dunphy.
The pill
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah, the guy who was finding the pills. Yeah, like that was the commander, like the SEALs commander, I think it was. Like that guy was cool. He was a good kind of like intermediary for Cap, and it's like, like I got to take you out. I was like, why aren't you taking out Cap? Like, what is happening here? Like, can you just not get to him? Like, like I felt pretty weak for someone who's supposed to be like super duper strong or like super super smart.
And then he's like, "Oh well, you thwarted my plan to like cause the next world war, so I'm just gonna turn myself in now, so I can at least make the president turn into the Hulk." It's like, well, all that really, like you said earlier, all that really is gonna do is like hurt him, but that's not like I'm a huge big bad guy doing some crazy plan. Like, okay, you just got like he's probably not gonna be president anymore. Good job. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
it.
like,
That's
but
your plan.
he's not going to be president, and he makes him like, oh, I've tarnished his legacy. Like that guy's already
Okay.
like dealing with BS anyway of being Thunderbolt Ross and locking up, having the history of locking up heroes, especially locking up Sam, who is now Captain America. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which is great. I like that they addressed that. It's like, how can you work with that man? He locked you up. He's like, I know, but we need to find the common ground, which is a good kind of theme to have. I thought that was dope.
And Tim Blake Nelson's a good actor.
Oh my god, have you seen him in Watchmen?
Yeah, he's a good actor. And then like the makeup they had on him, I don't know what they were doing. To me, it just looked goofy. It looked really goofy.
Yeah, I wish it would have. If they were gonna go make it goofy, like make it like ultra goofy, like give him the big ass cranium from the comics.
Well,
like,
at the end of the Hulk movie, the Incredible Hulk movie, I think it was an end credit scene when they showed the gamma blood like going into his wound.
Yeah, that was towards the end.
Yeah,
because,
and
like,
his head was growing, and so like they kind of started to show that he was getting that like enlarged head. It looked weird, but at least like they could have kept that. Then now it's just his brain was showing, and he's all green. It's just like okay, because I guess the gamma made you green, but
yeah,
I mean I think he's green in the comics, right? But
he absolutely is.
He's green, but like with the huge head.
He has the huge head, but he's just like other than that normal people proportions.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of weird, and weird that they decided to bring that character back after so long. It made it like a quasi Hulk sequel.
Yeah,
if anything.
without Hulk.
Yeah,
and they showed like
we
the
had Betty,
Abomination,
which is cool. Yeah, Abomination is too busy in his his little like retreat compound helping people with their anger issues.
That's another thing. Like they could have easily done something like that. Like if you're not gonna have Banner in this movie, I thought they were gonna like have Banner and then it would be like Hulk battle, so that like you don't have the conversation of just like how is this guy gonna stop a Hulk?
Imagine like having Banner. Again,
Banner,
that's why you bring him in first.
Banner or both Banner and
A-Bomb, and they both get wrecked by Red Hulk. But then it's Cap after he's been kind of weakened, who's able to like talk no jutsu him down.
Right, it would have been
then it's like, hey, you did it.
Like you already showed in other shows, or was it just She-Hulk that what's his face?
Blonsky?
Yeah, that Blonsky's sort of like a good guy now. So he could have been there. Also. Yeah, he could have been there to, to help out. But yeah, I don't know. Some of the decisions were seemed a little off.
Yeah, and some of that may tie into all the reshoots and the reshoots and rewrites they did.
If you look up on IMDb, this movie had 5 writers on it. A little too many cooks in the kitchen.
It also had, based off of all that stuff, you had a couple people who were uncredited because they ended up not being in the movie, like Rosa Salazar. People will know him as Seth Rollins from WWE, but real name Colby Lopez. But he was supposed to be like those two are supposed to be other members of the Serpent Society or just Serpent in general.
So that was just like a side plot that they took out.
Yeah, which may have added some more to the movie, but again, like if you're gonna like the leader could have been done more in terms of serpent manipulation. That could have probably showed more of his mental prowess as being like a mastermind, but just didn't really show. I wonder what happened too.
Because for sure, I know for a fact that Giancarlo Esposito was not originally in the movie. I think they hired him a year ago and did his scenes like a year ago. during those reshoots. So all of those scenes are some of the newer scenes that they filmed.
Yeah.
So who knows?
That would take. I would see that for sure.
They probably looked at what they had and like, let's scrap that and create this other side story with only like one member of the Serpent Society, which is strange. I don't know.
It was like two people in the end. It was him and it was Sidewinder and Copperhead.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
there's supposed to be others. Yeah, like there's supposed to be. I forgot the others, but there's supposed to be others. But would have been cool. But hey, who knows? Maybe they'll bring that back later. What did you guys? We didn't mention I don't know whether it's positive or negative, but what did you guys think of the other big cameo of the movie? It's your boy Bucky.
Bucky, oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, that. I almost
forgot. That was a good moment.
It was a nice moment, but it's interesting to see that he's running for Congress.
Yeah, I don't even know how that happens, but how somebody
that happens. And where does he live? I have political questions like where does he live? How does he get like the constituency to be able to vote him in? What party is he in? But does it matter? No. The matters is that he came back once again to give him the speech of, look, man, you got your own thing going on. So it was like more validation for Sam, which was nice to see. And it hopscotches us to keep him fresh in our minds, hopefully, for Thunderbolts coming in a few months. I mean, not Thunderbolts.
Maybe where he was going, like after that scene, was like where he's at in Thunderbolts. If they want to like connect it that close together,
maybe, yeah, and then have it like, look, you have James Buchanan Barnes able to lead a group of misfits to save the day, and he can be his own like a whatever politician or crap. Or it derails his political career because he's associated with these former criminals.
And he was also an assassin.
He is an assassin himself, yeah. Like, how do we get around that? Who knows? But it's cool. It was funny also seeing Ruth be like, oh wow, he like and that kind of like, oh snap, was that really him? Like, damn, like she gave him the look, or she got the look.
The glow?
Yeah, well, she saw it. Yeah, she was there looking at the glow. That was a funny little moment. But yeah. Anything else?
Did not like. I think we mentioned it earlier. Did not really like as much as I like him as an actor. That it felt kind of like shoehorned in the 3 scenes that Giancarlo Esposito was in.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, the scene when he like shoots up his car, that was pretty cool because it was surprising. Felt like it was like a very mini version of the car chase in Winter Soldier with Fury.
Yes.
A little bit.
Guess you can say that about the first scene too. That was like a mini version of the
hostage crisis on
the boat.
Lumerian Star. Yeah, I know my shit.
So yeah, I guess it was like maybe these newer scenes were like, let's try to punch this up and make this movie a little bit like Winter Soldier. But it's like, guys, it's very hard to emulate that because that movie was just so good. It's one of the best MCU movies. It's like, I don't know. I felt maybe they could have done something else to differentiate it more, but oh well. But yeah, some of the dialogue scenes were rough. I can't really pinpoint which one, because there would be some scenes where it's like, okay, I like what's going on here, and then they would end the conversation in a weird way. I was like, oh, that's. Or how about, I think at the beginning when when Sam was meeting with the president and the president's like, I want you to bring the Avengers back together. And it's like, cool, okay. And they showed that scene a lot in the trailer where he kept saying, you're not Steve Rogers, and actually cut that part out, or part of that part out in the movie. But then after like the crisis happens, because after the shooting incident, then like the next scene he's like, no, I don't want you to get the Avengers, like get out of here. It just felt very sudden. I guess that's like a pacing issue with those scenes being very close to each other. But But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. We kind of sprinkled in throughout.
Yeah, it's just one of the
other things that we
we mentioned the main thing is
like
the main plot,
yeah,
like other than stuff with
the plot
with
itself
adamantium being the new thing, like that's like something that like it's like outside of the adamantium kind of being the
they
new
went into that
thing.
more.
Yeah, instead of that being the whole like cause for a lot of the like they mentioned it, but it's like, hey, there should be more because you have like France, India, and Japan. Like,
shouldn't there be more countries vying for this like apparently craziest metal they've ever found?
I'll give you the short answer.
Yes.
Don't get China mad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or
Don't
Russia.
get China mad. Yeah.
Well,
because it was in the middle of the Indian Ocean, so it's just like, okay, India is closer to it, but like Japan, like how far east of in the Indian Ocean was it? Like, where's Australia? Like, Australia should have rolled up in there too.
Well, I'm saying just as far as like also universe canon, why was there no mention of Wakanda? You would think Wakanda would be like, what is this metal that's supposedly stronger than vibranium? Or
also, we're isolationists. Don't talk to us. Yeah. Even though, we also had an outreach program at the end of Black Panther. Let's not talk about that either.
Right. The only mention of Wakanda, and it wasn't even a mention, it's just that you noticed that his suit is pretty much all either Black Panther suit technology or vibranium, but that's it. Like, there's nothing else of Wakanda, which is kind of weird.
What were you saying, Zach, about Wakanda?
No, what Anthony said basically, that they mentioned it a few times, but mainly because they were just talking about like the tech in Captain America's suit and the wings and everything. So that was about it, or like the tech involved with it. But aside from that, yeah, there wasn't really much of a mention. And given that adamantium is going to be now what's going to be better than vibranium going forward, at least officially in the MCU now. So, but yeah, hardly any mention.
That's kind of sprinkling that in. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't mention Liv Tyler.
We mentioned they mentioned Betty a lot, but that was a cool little thing at the end. It's like, hey, we finally brought Liv Tyler, and I was like, come on, like
10-second cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's not that busy. You could do it. That was nice to see at least a little bit, and then give what's his name? Yeah, like give Ross that closure of just like, okay, like I owned up to my mistakes. I have my own accountability, and hey, that gave me time with my daughter because that's sort of earned. Good for you. Those are those things. But let me see what else. Yeah,
and then I guess at that point, after that, then we get the end credits.
Which there's only one. There's no mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
Go figure. Yeah, go figure. We get the end credit scene.
It's also in the raft too.
Yeah. Same place. Yeah, like I imagine General Ross is in the same prison as Samuel Stearns. So hopefully they're not bunkmates or like they're neighbors in their cells.
Well, isn't that the end credit scene take place a little later? I believe than the end of the movie.
Yes, I don't know if did they say months later. Did they do
they
another?
Didn't say anything, but I mean, unless it's just a continuity error. But when Sam is talking to the leader, he no longer has his arm brace. So you would assume
Yeah, so the arms no longer are broken. Yeah.
So maybe like a couple months, a month or two.
Yeah.
At least.
He's checking up on you randomly, and he's like, "Yeah, but I've seen stuff. I know something's coming." So they're setting up the whole. They talked about it in Doctor Strange. So these whole like incursions, maybe from other people in other universes, trying to make space in the multiverse for themselves and their survival, whatever the case may be. But he alludes to that again. It's like, okay, you're super smart in that, but where were you in your plan or plot to keep the world kind of like keep the world going in your way? But we already mentioned that.
Did you guys notice that there wasn't the Marvel fanfare at the beginning?
Yeah, it was that weird edit.
No, I didn't notice that. That's interesting.
Well, I'm pretty sure like with some of the movies, wasn't it like the audio kind of blending in with like the intro of the movie?
Yeah, it was just like the movie started, and then it said Marvel Studios, but with I guess like font and graphics that had to do with the movie. But the movie kind of just started. There was no, Marvel fanfare with Chiquino's music and all that, which is, I don't know, pretty weird.
They didn't have like a whole like I mean, the fanfare obviously wasn't there, but the like the actual visual, like the actual video, the actual like little 30-second clip of like it's showing like the little scenes and the Marvel logo and then like zooming out and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, they didn't have that.
Didn't have that whole thing.
No.
No.
Oh.
Like it was just like it said Marvel Studios, but it was like a black and white screen, and then it was like with the static, like showing, I guess now that we've seen the movie, it was probably trying to emulate like the flashing of the screen.
Oh.
But like,
yeah,
I feel like you do that after the fanfare, like not just like start the movie. So I don't know. I don't know if that's like a subtle jab at anything, or they just felt like, hey, let's not do that for this movie.
Yeah.
Never noticed.
But that's a fair point. I'll have to. That's one of those I guess I want to like
rewatch.
Go rewatch it just for that beginning stuff and see if that's like, planting the seeds from the beginning, or if the whole movie was a mind control by the leader. So congratulations. Everything was wrong. He's a genius.
That's a question though. Would you rewatch this movie?
I think I would. Like, yeah, there's the plot and the villain are pretty on the weaker side, but I think, to me personally, the positives will outweigh it. Yeah, like it definitely, like it's not like on the great side of things, but to me it's still entertaining. Like it's watchable. Yeah, there's definitely faults that you'll see, but to me it's still watchable. It's still like it was entertaining for me enough to be like, hey, like, yeah, like thinking and stuff afterwards, but from the get go, like it's still good. Like there's still good performances, there's still good action sequences to kind of keep things interesting.
I think for me overall in the MCU, since we're like at 35 movies,
wow.
I think it's kind of like just right in the middle. There's definitely of like better MCU movies, but there's also definitely some worse MCU movies. I would rewatch this one because I do like a lot of things from it, and like Harrison Ford and like those final fight sequence moments. But yeah, I think it's just like a solid right in the middle MCU movie. I enjoyed it.
Okay, fair enough. Zach, any thoughts?
I think I'm in agreement with both you guys. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's a decent movie. Plot wise and everything else kind of mixed in there together. Rewatchability. I think it has some rewatchability, especially, so some like the little Easter eggs that kind of throw in there that maybe you didn't pick up the first time, or you wanted to, let's say you they put on Disney Plus, you want to actually take a moment to pause the scene and you want to see if there are any Easter eggs. Like it's good for that kind of thing, even though there wasn't much anyway. But I mean, it does have a little bit of rewatchability. It's not terrible. It's it's an enjoyable enough movie that like Danny said, it sits in the middle where um it's not a great movie, it's not a terrible movie. There are much better, but there are much worse. I definitely, I mean, maybe not in theaters, but I definitely watch it probably if I'm ever going through like a Marvel movie marathon.
Stream it on the Plus. So what the man said, stream it on the Plus. But yeah,
overall solid movie.
Okay. Yeah. I think, not great.
Yeah, I think at some point I have to like write down like all 35 and like order them, because I kind of feel the same way. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It's a middle of the pack. But I say that now, but then probably when I start numbering them, like, oh wait, maybe it's lower than the middle, because there's a decent amount now that could be middle of the pack, and then it just keeps maybe bringing this one down more than we think. So yeah, I would say it's middle of the pack to possibly lower. I just haven't done it yet. I'd probably put it in like the maybe like Captain Marvel range, Ant-Man 2 range.
Okay.
I think it's better. It's better than Ant-Man 3 for
better
sure.
than Ant-Man 3 and the Marvels and Love and Thunder.
Yeah, like for me, the bottoms are like Thor 2. I haven't seen Thor 2 in I don't know how many years.
Thor 2 is still not great. I've seen it a few times.
I think I've
more.
seen it once, maybe twice, and I barely remember it, and that's not good. I usually do a pretty good job of remembering these movies, and I barely remember anything about that movie.
Hey,
so like Thor 2.
Hey, bringing it back full circle. Full circle. Chris O'Dowd is in Thor 2, so there was that.
I remember that.
That was the guy that he's trying to like go on a date with Jane, and it's like, oh wait, Thor's back, and he's like, oh damn, like sure, but that was the whole thing. So
yeah, you mentioned like the Marvels again. The Marvels like it was whatever, and Thor: Love and Thunder to me is more of like its bottom because it was just very disappointing compared to how good Ragnarok was. So I feel like you can start naming the bottom ones, and they're like, damn, so I already have like a bottom like 8 or 10, and this one might end up being like
there.
I know, but it might be like
bottom
close. 12, bottom 12.
Yeah, you might be worse. Yeah,
out of 35, that's not halfway. So you never know.
True.
But yeah. Not terrible, but not that good either. So
yeah, and then this, coming up later in the year, we have 36 coming out, which is Thunderbolts. And 37 with Fantastic Four, but yeah, like 36 with Thunderbolts asterisk. Which again, the trailers look great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the trailers look good, so we'll see. We get some exciting stuff happening. That's when, the big tentpole releases start going on. Bring your popcorn, get your party going.
Marks the end of Phase 5.
That is correct. Yeah,
because Phase 6 begins with Fantastic Four.
There aren't any TV shows coming out before Fantastic Four, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got Daredevil.
Okay.
My God.
Okay. Yeah. So
Daredevil's coming out in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
From this recording. Yes. A week and a half from here, from when we were doing this.
So so that comes out. So we have at least one show and then one movie that will close off Phase 5. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
What started Phase 5? Quantumania?
Yes.
Was it? Oh.
So Phase 5 was rough then. And like parts of Phase 4 was rough too.
So all of it.
No, not all of it.
Definitely.
Remember, hey, Phase 5 had Guardians 3. Phase 5 had Guardians 3.
You're saying Spider-Man No Way Home was bad?
No, that's what I'm saying. There's some good parts.
You're saying Werewolf by Night was bad?
Most of it was like I still haven't seen it. Most of it was like solid or worse.
Yeah, no, we don't have to go through the whole list of it, but no, there's a lot. Like
I'll list it real quick. Well, Phase 5, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Okay, awesome.
Secret Invasion.
Oh my God.
I Am Groot.
Fun.
Season 2.
Yeah.
Loki Season 2.
Okay, good.
Tier.
The Marvels. What If Season 2. Echo.
Oh, that finale.
Deadpool and Wolverine. Agatha All Along. What If Season 3. Captain America Brave New World. Daredevil Born Again. Thunderbolts.
This man forgot your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, dude.
Yeah.
But it's not. Is it part of MCU canon? Seems like it's an offshoot.
Yeah.
No, but yes. It's watch it and it'll make sense.
Okay.
Thunderbolts, and then apparently the end of Phase 5 is Ironheart.
Whenever then.
But when is that coming out?
Yeah, is that going to come out before
Fantastic Four?
Apparently it's before.
Don't look up the internet. That's not right. Yeah. Apparently, well, who knows? It says it's supposed to come out on Disney Plus, so we'll see.
We'll
let's see.
Did you guys finish watching Echo. Did you watch Echo?
Yes.
Yes, I think we've mentioned it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good, except for that finale.
For the finale.
Was
something
rough.
else.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but it does, if you want to be really completionist about it, it does tie into Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, at least some things are starting to
your boy
lead
Fisk
up to the next thing, but
being the mayor.
Where's Shang-Chi 2, man?
Yeah,
that is what I need in my life. That's what I need in my life. But
where's Doctor Strange 3?
Yeah, that's supposed to be a thing. Apparently, there's supposed to be stuff maybe in 2026 or 2027.
Bring Wanda back to life. Have her own movie.
Do it. The people want it.
I still don't think she died.
I don't think she died. We didn't see a body, so there you go.
No one ever died. Except for Uncle Ben. Only Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben always dies.
And Natasha. She's dead.
She's dead.
Her soul died.
Yeah. She got soul trapped. Anyway, with that, everybody,
go watch it.
Yeah, there we go. So those are our thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World. It is a brave new world within the MCU right now, so it's going to be pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, overall, it's a fun watch. Again, just expectations don't understand the plot is its own thing. It's definitely a weak point, but we've mentioned our positives, we've mentioned our constructive stuff, and negatives. But overall, we did enjoy ourselves in the theater watching it. It wasn't Madam Web, thankfully.
No, it was not.
Waiting for everybody's
not Madam Web, not Craven, not Morbius.
I mean, no one randomly was dancing and boogieing, with their 1-2 steps, and there was no Toxic played for purposes. Anyway,
because it's 2003.
This is 2003. Anyway, with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Catch us in next time. We'll keep it a little bit of a secret and surprise for our next episode. We might make it fun and throw it back to a movie not from this current decade. So we might make some fun there, or we'll keep you guessing. Hopefully the suspense will keep you on to tune into next week. So on behalf of my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists, thank you so much for tuning in. Catch you guys next time.
Later.
See ya.